much nicer. But it's
Okay.
just a lag in it. So
Yeah, I'm not for sure what's happening, but we already live and I couldn't change it because I didn't end the broadcast. Go ahead and get started
okay.
or seeing
All
this,
right.
but I'm going to go ahead and edit this. So I just want to, thank you for your patience and thank you for everybody. And I do apologize that whoever tried to log on today, you were not able to get on because we were having technical difficulties, and I apologize for that. But we're going to go ahead and get started. For those who are patient, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. But as you know, with technology, things happen and you try to make as much preparation as you can, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And so therefore we wanted to continue on. And so today we're right now we are going through a lighter crisis. So the first crisis was COVID-19, and now this crisis that we're currently going through deals with us as an African American community, of where we have lost another person to police brutality. And so we want to try to reach out to our virtual community and to just help them with resetting their mind, getting some emotional help so that we can be a productive community. And so just an introduction of myself. Of course, I am Dana McDuffie, and my platform is Sisters to Dream Network and Investment Group. And it's based off of the 9 pillars of completion. My 9 pillars of completeness is spirituality, financial, housing, community development, education, beauty and grooming, entrepreneurship, and health and nutrition. The reason why I do have these 9 pillars is because we want to live a complete lifestyle. And when we have a break in one of these pillars, there's a disruption in us being and living a complete life. And so therefore, for me reaching out to pertinent people, first I look at who's in my community that is doing things in the community and having community involvement and that have made an impact. And so, of course, I looked at my current Facebook friends and I ran across Tina Greer. And the reason being is that we have 43 of the same friends. And so when you have 43 of the same friends that are doing things in the community, you want to reach out and connect with people and have a more intimate relationship with them. So I reached out to Tina Greer probably about a month ago, and I asked her if she would consider coming on. And so what intrigued me about her is that she has written a book called Growing. That let's see if we could apply the that she has written in this book to today's events, to see how we can heal our mindset so that we can continue to move forward as a community. And then once we have become healed, then we can help someone else in our community. So because there is a lot of emotions that are around the situations at hand, not to just take light away from George Floyd, who we just memorialized recently, where there are people that we don't even know the names that have faced this type of brutality. And we want to whoever's on the front line, whoever goes out there and protest, we want to help them with their emotional state, with their mindset, so that we can create the energy so that we can get the results that we need, because change is needed in this day and time. And so in order for us to provoke change, the first thing we have to do is to work on our mind so that our mindset will produce what it is, the results that we want. So I just want to give a disclaimer, because I always just give a disclaimer once I come on. And the purpose of this live is to suggest some tools to help reset the mind during this time of emotional distress, and how we can transfer the energy to serve our community and loved ones through self-care, personal development, and affirmations. So My guest today, please welcome Miss Tina Greer. And she is a three-time published author. And she has over 20 years of business management and finance experience. And she's a trainer and coach and a small business owner of Greer. How to bid on government contracts, of which she has a class that will be starting on June the 22nd, process to profit. So later on, we'll get into that. But what we want to do right now is, Miss Greer, share with us your journey to writing this book.
Well, the journey for me writing this book, first and foremost, Dana, I want to thank you for this opportunity to be on your platform to share today. We're just talking, having a conversation, getting over the hurdles of this tech, but we're making it happen. We didn't quit, right? We kept on until we got it done. And then we said, okay, it's not perfect, but we're going to move forward. And that is really the premise of my book, Grow Into Your Greatness. Just to tell you a little bit about, that the journey that made me want to write this. This book was actually written in 2016, and it hit Amazon's bestseller. So I'm featured, in various articles, ABC, NBC, and so forth. But you know what? When I sat down and decided to write this book, there was a need at that time. It's crazy because it was actually 4 years ago. And, I actually when you asked me to speak, I actually went back and revisited what I wrote then. And it is still relevant today, as if I wrote it yesterday. It's amazing when you write your thoughts and you're very authentic and you write your thoughts on paper. But I was writing to that individual who felt less than, who didn't not realize their potential, the capacity of their talents, and knowing that they could do more, but sometimes they needed a word of encouragement. So I reached within myself and the issues that I've dealt with, but then also being very compassionate and empathetic to others that may have been going through the same things at different times of their life. So I started to write, and then I continued on because I wanted to emphasize no matter what you're going through in business and on life, you're going to have ups and downs, ebb and flows, but you must continue to move forward. So that was the premise of my book, Growing Greatness.
Awesome. And so in respect for today's, because we're talking about, again, when I reached out, you said that those things that you wrote were applicable for today. So in respect for today's recent events with George Floyd and many others, reflect how this book is applicable. And so what we're going to do is, in making that application, we're going to break down the book in chapters 1 through 3. So the first thing is you are worthy. And so as an African American community, in being an individual, a prominent individual, and influential person in the African American community, define how you see us worthy and what are the ways one can self-actualize worthiness.
Well, I think first and foremost, we see a lot of people on the outside as far as their material things, thinking that they are better than we are. I found that even with me growing up, in my career, working with individuals that made way more money than me. And at the end of the day, I said, we all do this. We all go to bed at night. We all have to eat to sustain life and so forth. They're no different than me. So sometimes as individuals, we look out on the outside, but not understanding that we, in the inside, we're just as valuable as anyone else. It's okay to have mentors and influencers and things of that nature, but understand that you're worthy of that as well. You are royal priesthood. And I talk about that. I'm very, I'm a Christian, and I have strong beliefs, and I understand that God has given us a capacity to achieve greatness, We have the skills and talents
Absolutely.
inside of us. We are valuable, but you have to first understand that within your mindset, knowing that you can achieve whatever you put your mind to, right? So you have to understand your value in the environment that you're in. So don't let someone else dictate what you are worth. All right. Don't let someone decide what put a value on your life or put a value on your activities of what you do to bring, to provide for your family. Everybody, especially now in COVID-19, the non-essentials are the essentials, the ones you thought was non-essential. We need them in order to make sure
Yes.
we can do our jobs, right? So it's a point of just really placing the value, understanding that you are worthy and you can do this. So I really wanted to talk to that individual who sometimes have imposter syndrome, meaning that they like, why would somebody choose
Mm,
me? Why should they why should I get this huge contract? Why should I get on this stage? Sometimes we second guess ourselves. But really I wanted to hit on
mm,
the point of within the book, Growing to Your Greatness, is that you are worthy and you have the capacity to do it. You just have to really get in the framework and the mindset of setting yourself up in order to achieve that.
absolutely, absolutely. And so, that's with the events of today and tying it back today, because you said value and worthy. And so we as African Americans, we have to understand that we have value in the United States, that we have value. And so, what are some of the ways that you think that we can show up to add value where we have fallen short just a little bit?
Okay, the biggest thing that you can add value in is to vote. To vote. That's value. You have that.
Exactly.
I mean, people have died for us to be recognized of that value, to use our mind, our process, and make a difference by by placing a ballot. That is powerful. So don't ever say, "Oh, I can't change things." You have the capacity,
Hmm.
but you have to put action behind that. So you have to realize self value. What can I do in my current state? How can I make a difference,
Hmm.
change in my current life environment or my surroundings? We have been given the right to vote. We can make change through action, through standing in line, through early voting, through ballot. Mail your ballot in. Don't wait to the last.
Hmm.
And, so there's so many different ways, and voting is just one thing to impact change, impact local community as well as national as well. So that is huge, and that's one of my biggest things, especially in today's environment with Mr. Floyd passing, with COVID-19, and the upcoming elections and the primary elections. Use your voice. Your voice is valuable.
Hmm.
Use your voice
Right.
and action by going and make a difference and voting.
Absolutely. So she made a vital point, because even having a conversation with my daughter, who was 22 years old, she made it known to me. She said, "I will be using, making sure." She wanted to make sure that her information was correct so that she could get her ballot, so that she could vote. And that was very important for her, because even at age 22, she realized that the only way change is going to take place for us is if we get a seat at that table. And number one, like she
Yes.
said, we have to go to the polls, not just at the aggregate level, but at those pertinent people and those state representatives, so that we can, voice our concerns. Another thing, I think that is very vital is that we hold people accountable, holding them accountable. And so we're going to go on to the next thing. Am I the only one? Sometimes we feel, we have isolated thoughts. And when we have been isolated for quite some time, some of us have been isolated from the original announcement of COVID-19, where, people were saying we're all in this together. But then we transitioned to this new crisis of which now it's like, okay, we're all in this together, but now it's like a sector of people who are saying, we're not all in this together. So when we say, in one of your chapters, you say, am I the only one? Explain how this feeling is relevant and what are some ways to eliminate isolation and isolated thoughts?
Wow, that is huge. I mean, again, this is crazy because I wrote this book in 2016, and these thoughts are so relevant and they could be applicable to so many different areas that's going on today, especially, am I the only one? Yes, it's pretty much, how we are used to being, we're socialites, right? Sometimes we're socialites, but yet we're alone. We're alone.
Mm,
We're alone. We feel alone. And that can go into, again, go
mm,
into that individual, that emotional mindset of depression. This talks about depression as well. Am I the only,
mm,
how the term fake the funk, where you
mm,
people think you're doing so well, right? People think you're out there and everybody, you're seen at all these places, yet you are so lonely because,
mm,
where you need to be touched as far as that inner spirit, and then also just that on that intellectual level is not being fed. I'm the only one
mm.
feel alone, especially being sheltered in. We have to be compassionate to those individuals who need that other person to communicate with, communicate
Mm,
with. So, and then need to be heard. That's powerful. Some individuals
mhm.
need to be heard,
Right.
really listened to, instead of talked over, when it comes to
Mm,
life situations. All of that is relevant
exactly.
today. These individuals
Yes, it
that's
is.
out here protesting, you're protesting in whatever form you're protesting, even if you're marching out there or if you're, helping others locally by volunteering. Any way you can help
Mhm.
movement, that helps you not feel alone, feeling that I'm fighting this myself. No one else is listening to me.
Right.
No one hears me. So you could be in a crowded room, but yet still feel alone. But that's when you need to reach out and connect. Use your voice. Let people know,
Mm,
or it might be a point where in situations for me where I've been going through, people reach out to me and say, are you okay? Ask the question, are you okay? Because sometimes people are not strong enough to scream at rooftops and say, I need help or I need someone to confide in. But having
mm,
around you, and I said the word
mm,
friends around you, can really help you um, be able to stand amidst the chaos and confusion
mm.
many of us
Right.
deal with in different times in our lives. So even that phone call just to say, hi friend, are you okay? Can
Mhm.
through, especially with people going through sadness, through death, through constantly seeing this negativity that's going on the media, in the media, you listen to it, you hear it every single day, and you wonder, am I fighting this alone?
Right.
Is you're not.
Right.
So I really wanted to address that. Am I the only one? No, you're not. Sometimes people need to be reassured that they're not by themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, just going from crisis to crisis and saying, hey, we're in COVID-19 and we're all in this together, to now it's just an isolated thing that isolates the African American community. Because now we're saying, okay, now it's almost like us against. It's really not, because not everybody shares the same viewpoint. And so the purpose of this collaboration and discussion is to say, hey, we're here to provide you with some other thought processes to let you know that it's a whole virtual community out here. And we're wanting to, give you a positive word, a positive affirmation to say, hey, it's pertinent people out here in the community that want to hear your concerns and want to address you, but also we want to do it in a healthy way. All right. So moving on. So Exactly. So moving on to the other one, the title is Giving to the Detriment of Oneself.
Woo!
Many people feel like, because sometimes, when you are in service to people, especially people on the front line, giving to the detriment of oneself. So that are on the front line, and the empaths, because you have empaths in the world, and those people really feel the sorrow and the pain of the world, and it's like a big emotion, and it's an emotional burden that has been placed on them. And describe some ways to assist them with burnout and the feeling of heaviness.
Wow, I think that giving to the detriment of self, when I wrote this piece right here, is for those individuals who are servant leaders. I wanted to talk to
Mm,
servant leaders because I'm a servant leader. Sometimes you be preaching to yourself, right? And it's times where you give and you give and you give. You give of your time, your energy, your thoughts, your emotions. That's hard at times on you. It can take
mm,
an emotional toll on your body. And then when it's
mm,
you develop sickness because you're giving and not taking care of yourself, right?
mm,
Your mind, you can start having crazy thoughts. Your body can just
mm,
trip out on you, and then now you're aching all over and things of that nature because you're just pushing yourself without breathing, without taking a breath, without balance,
mm,
without self-care,
mm,
because you want to just
mm.
help everybody, right? I know I'm talking
Exactly.
to somebody that's listening to us in this virtual world because you want to just
Right.
help everybody. And there's people out there that give selflessly.
Mm-hmm.
About it,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the front lines. Could you imagine? Just think about what's going on right now. The ongoing, even the people that's covering the broadcast, you can see the energy, the lag of energy on their face because you're hit with all that negativity. You got the family that's suffering, they're exhausted. You have the frontline workers, the doctors, the nurses, everybody in the hospitals that are fighting COVID-19, working, 24, 36-hour shifts, giving,
Mm.
tired, but still fighting,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Point where it has an
Mm-hmm.
emotional toll. Some, sadly enough, I remember hearing some lady, I think she committed suicide or something, a medical worker. But
Mm-hmm.
circumstances of that, but I'm just talking about in regards to you give and give and give and give to the detriment of yourself. The whole thing about it is that you must take care of yourself in order to give to others. You must put on, I give an analogy. People have heard of the analogy of being on the airline, on an airline. And you put the airline attendant says, put your oxygen mask on first, then help your loved ones, then help your fellow man. So you have to sometimes be selfish instead of selfless.
Mm.
If you do not, how can you give 100% of yourself to someone when you're struggling in the inside?
Mm.
Do everything. I don't have everything to give you, but I know that if I take a break and reassess the situation that I'm going through, get my mind right, get balance in my life, then I'm able to serve better my community. I'm
Exactly.
able to serve better my family, my loved ones. So sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
back as women, as business owners, as people in general, and reassess and say, okay, what do I need? Let me make sure I'm right so I can serve you better. So that is what,
Absolutely.
the premise of giving to the detriment of oneself. That's, when I thought about, and I was, again, when I write, I'm, as an author and author coach, when I write, I was writing to that person sitting in a chair, and I was talking to
Mm.
that one person in that chair, and just giving her or him what I thought that they needed at that time. And sometimes
Right.
no time like today that we need this information.
Absolutely, absolutely. So she talked right. She made a vital point. So she talked about self care. Being, becoming a little bit selfish so that you can, bring what you need to other people. So I just want to ask a personal question to you, which is not one of the questions that I asked. So what are the steps that you take? Because as you stated that you describe yourself as a servant leader, which you are. So what are the things that you do in your self-care?
Wow. Something that I do in my self care is, I have to encourage myself. You have to be your big encourager. I don't want to get emotional. Woo, Jesus. But I'm not going to get emotional. I've been through a lot in these last 3 months. My mother died, my father in law died, but God is good,
Oh,
right? So
absolutely.
you just have to continue to encourage yourself and say, I can get through this. Today,
Mm,
and we never know how strong we are until we go through things in life. So you have to
yes.
constantly say positive thoughts in your mind that you can get this. Or I like to say, my mother would want me to do this because I know the expectations of my mother, and I know what she expects of me in decency and in order.
Mm,
And I already know her thoughts
mm,
here. I know what she wants and expects of me. And actually, this book, Growing
mm,
is one of my biggest cheerleaders was my mother. And she's actually acknowledged in my books, period, is that because I'm a
right.
strong woman, therefore I am strong. And I will get through this
Mm,
with the grace of God. So you have to constantly
mm,
affirm yourself. Even in the morning, it's like,
mm,
how am I going to get through today? Today's going to be a great day. You speak that into existence. Today is going to be a great day. Speak it to an existence.
absolutely.
That positive mindset, nothing is going to stop you. All in here, but you have to set the stage in order for things to come together. So,
Absolutely.
those are some
Mm,
encouraging words that I want to leave with you guys that you're stronger than you think you are. You're stronger than you think,
mm,
and this too shall pass. And great
mm,
ahead. So keep pushing. Don't give up.
a-
I think you have to be
absolutely.
resilient, consistent, and persistent in order to achieve your goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like what you said about setting the stage. I think that is so important that you can describe it as setting the stage or making your intention very clear in the morning. But however you do it when you first wake up, make sure that you set the stage of how you want your day to go. Call it out to the universe and say, this is how I want my day to go, and start, like you said, affirming yourself. That's so vital in these times. And so now we're going to go move on to the chapters called Mindset Makeover. And so you have three concepts that teach the teach us about change, focus, and progress in our minds. And that is very vital, uprooted. And we need to plant new seeds in order to, and with the things that are going on between, COVID-19 and that transition, and then with the George Floyd incident, we have to plant some new seeds. So teach us the how and why we should, number one, make a change in our mindset.
Well, I want to let everybody know that they have the capacity to change their thinking, right?
Mm,
The foremost thing you have to do is make a decision to change. If you are a negative, pessimistic type person, then you need to work on that. It's a point of self reflection and saying, well, I
mm,
need to make a shift in the way I think. You have to first
mm,
want to do that. So number one would be to change your focus. If you're focused on negative thoughts, negative energy, change your environment. You don't need to be in that place anymore. If you're around people that's always talking negative and down and downing people, things of that nature, change your circle. So the first thing you
Mm,
need is change, right? The second thing you need to do is have a focus. Right? It's an exercise on you,
mm,
personal development. You have to focus on you. Understand your why. Why do you need to change? You know, who's looking at you? You'll be amazed of how many people are actually looking and following you and looking at how you react to things. So you want to make an impression, especially on the young people of today. They are watching us. And you want
absolutely.
that you focus on why you need to change. You cannot do the same things you did last year, 20 years ago, and expect a different result. So
Mm,
understand your why. And then your why should be enough to want to change. It may be changing the financial legacy of your family. What does that mean? That may mean going out and opening that new business. That may mean collaborating with others that are winning. Who knows what that is? But understand your reason why and set the expectation why you want to do that. And number three, let me leave this with you. Number three is pride. Let me make sure that everything is it flows. Everything should flow. It's not going to happen over.
mm,
Don't expect, just like people say, you know, like when you give your life to Christ and they say, "Oh, okay, I'm good." No, that means that when the enemy is going to attack you even more, when you give your life to Christ, everything your change is going to occur over time in regards to the actionable changes of how you think. What are your expectations? What's your focus? But the implementation means action, progress. Continue to move forward. That is so important. So again, change your mindset. You got to change and then hang around who you hang around with. Focus, your reason why, and then progress, actionable steps to implement that. What can you do to make it better for the next person? So sometimes
mm,
we have to not think
exactly.
about ourselves. What can we do to make it better for the next person? That's what's going on now. All this this peaceful protest that's going on, the peaceful protest that's going on is is creating a change of how we can make things better for our future
Mm,
and their kids' future. So again,
mhm.
it's in an atmosphere, but it all starts with having a mindset makeover, what I like to call a mindset makeover.
Absolutely. And it's just the other races also too. I believe that they're having to, or they might be being pushed into a mindset makeover. You know, we're
Oh
not the
yeah.
only ones out there that are peacefully, just like they were created. We were created in God's
Mhm.
precious asset. And so, you know, I believe that, you know, individually, we all have to set this in motion with change, focus, and progress, because what we do now impacts what happens later on. So, you know, those are the new seeds that we want to start planting. And because I believe that God knew that this was going to happen, and He appropriated it at the right time while we were still quarantined to be able to deal with this. But we do see that people are still coming together, and that, you know, first of all, that we love one another through this, but also, you know, like she said, change, focus, and progress. Okay, and so the next chapter she talks about is pregnant with possibilities. I love this one. As an act that can come out of the events with George Floyd and others. We might have touched on this just a little bit, but we just want to expand on this, you know, and recommend a process to endure.
Wow, pregnant possibilities, the birthing process, you know, the birthing process through our struggles, through the pain, through the sadness, something is being birthed, right? Something is definitely being birthed out of the struggle. Endured for
Mm,
years, over 400, but there's a birthing process that's going on. We don't know exactly the time when the baby's going to come, but we know that it's going to be
mm,
time when the baby comes. But we are prepping for that process. So
mm,
don't be dismayed when you go through struggles in life. Don't be dismayed when things don't go in your favor, but you keep pushing. You have been growing. The shelter in has been keeping us like in one spot for so long, being sheltered in and can't really be out there in the environment and socialize and network and just be free without the mask and the gloves because we don't know, what's really
mm.
that unhidden danger that we go through in life. That is a constraint on us as individuals. And we've been constrained for so long. But I just want everybody
Absolutely.
encouraged that we will deliver. Right? There will be growth,
Mhm.
there will be a new growth, a new process, a new birth in our lives. And it's a point of us being ready to accept it when it comes. So we're gonna just wiggle and just like a caterpillar that's gonna become a butterfly. They have to go through a change. They have to go through a process. They gotta go through struggles in life. But if you keep moving, you will get there.
Mhm.
Keep
Absolutely.
doing what you need to do with that positive mindset, that positive energy, but that fight. Have that fight in you and don't give up. You're going to see it to the end. You'll be amazed at what's going to come. So I just want to encourage everybody just to keep pushing. Push when it hurts. Push when you're happy. Push when you're sad. Push when you're going through grief. Push when you don't understand life and life's challenges. Just keep pushing and moving in a forward direction. Don't look back. Don't move back, but keep moving forward and you will get the prize. So I really wanted to encourage everyone amidst all the chaos that's going on in our life with Mr. Floyd's death, with all the other deaths that have happened, and then also with COVID-19, the shelter in, the loss of jobs, the loss of
Mm, yeah.
the loss of businesses in our community. We haven't really, I mean, this is just, so much going on, but we have to endure and keep pushing. So,
Mhm.
that pregnant possibilities, meaning is that the sky is limited on our opportunities. We are going to be better for it because we went through it, if you understand what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You are stronger than what
Mhm.
you think you are. You have a lot already that we've taken for granted that you didn't think that you would do without, but you're doing okay without it. A lot of people are experiencing
Yes.
well. So
Right.
that's I just wanted to let people know. Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
That's right. Yeah. So we are birthing out something. We may not know how long it will take, but we know that it is a process. So just for you during this time period of COVID-19 and the transition, what did you birth out new for you?
Wow. For me, I think making somewhat of a pivot in my business, making a pivot in my mindset. I think that I'm still in the labor pains. I'm still, going through the process and really looking forward to what's to come. But I'm just gonna just keep walking and keep in faith to understand that
Mhm.
that God has a plan for me in my life. So I'm always look forward to encouraging other individuals. Many people know me from different hats of being that empowerment speaker, but then also being that analytical trainer in my coaching. But then also I'm a creator in my product.
Mm,
So really utilizing talents and gifts that God has given me in order to empower
mm,
others, to educate others, to get to the other side, even get to the other side of money, of revenues, to make sure that they know that they have the capacity to achieve greatness. You can really have hidden talents and do a lot of different things. It's a point of making sure they flow in order. So, that's what I think that, for me, where I'm at today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So while we're sharing, even for me to pivot also too, I remember it just in devotions with God. He said to me, "You can have a cultivated mind or uncultivated mind. It's up to
Mm.
you what you want." And so I said I wanted a cultivated mind, one that plants seeds and keeps watering those seeds and keeps pushing through, of course, and waiting for and blossoming. And so, this right here is just, 7 years, but this is the actual seed that has been planted, reaching out into the community and developing those 9 pillars of completeness. So, I want to encourage everybody out there. This is the time, if it's no better time, but this is the best time to start, planting seeds. And I got my computer up. One second. Can you still see me?
Yes, I see you.
Okay. Oh my goodness, having technical difficulty. Okay. So that's what I want to say. And so now we have going to the next chapter. We have the power, affirm our power in your own words. So we as individuals have power, and then collectively as African Americans, we have power. So just affirm our power in your own words.
I would say that I will be the change that I want to see. So you have to say that. You have to affirm that. Look in the mirror and say, I will be the change I want to see. The reason why I say people look to other people for for affirmation or consent, or look for other people to make changes. But you should affirm your I will be the change I want to see. So that's one of the affirmations that I wanted to live. And the other affirmation that I want to leave with you guys is I am unbreakable. I am an overcomer. I am unbreakable. I am an overcomer. So say those words to yourself and continue to.
Let's say them together.
I am unbreakable and I am an overcomer.
An overcomer. Those are powerful. Those are really, really powerful.
Yes.
All right. And then what are some daily goals we should practice to reshape our minds to deal with discrimination?
Wow. I and there's going to be times where I think you just have to be educated on it. And there's hidden and there's really hidden and unhidden racism going on today. And it's how you react to the situation. So just do your part. It's sad that in this day and age you have to sit your child down and explain how to act when you are up against authority and things of that nature to make sure that they come home safely. But I think it's going to empower your youth, empower the kids on how to react. Sometimes we get upset, we get frustrated, but we have to not only think for ourselves, but think for the other person. Just like when you're driving on a highway, sometimes, they'll say you got to drive for everybody because you want to get home safely. So don't get upset. Try to keep your cool as much as possible, but make sure that you understand if there's something speak up. Speak up about it, but it's a way to speak up and communicate effectively to where you keep a cool head. Because you don't know what you do. You don't know that other person's mindset, whether they have on a uniform or not. But the goal is to make it home safely to your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I was having this conversation with my husband and I asked him, when you get in a car, how do you feel? And he says, of course, as a Black man, he feels a certain type of way if he, situation with the mindset of how he wants the situation to go. And so if you want the situation to go, you'll just comply. And if you comply, then I think you get good results. So let me ask you, just a personal question. Can you give us an example of a time where you did experience discrimination, and how did you deal with that?
That's a good question, because I can't, like, a blatant discrimination. I really can't say a blatant discrimination. I just know that throughout my career and throughout school, I found that I would be sometimes the only one in the crowd or the only person of color in my department. So I really can't honestly say at this, like, off the top of my head, of someone like calling me out of my name or anything in that form. If anything, it would have been something hidden, but I haven't, thank God, had, experienced that. Again, I work, being part of the military family, you're a melting pot of individuals, especially a military spouse. So I can't say that I have, thank God, been in that situation as many of my brothers and sisters have been.
Oh, hey, I think that's a good thing. Now, on the other hand, at age, I think I was maybe age 22, 21, just coming out of college and entering my new full-time job at a bank, a well-known bank. I was described as a uppity porch monkey. And for me, yes. And I'm able to talk about it now, but for me is that once I had that, I really didn't know what it was. I'm from up north, and we carry ourselves a different way, but I was described as an uppity porch monkey. And
Wow.
so what I did do was look at myself. I had to take an internal look at myself and to see what it was that I was giving off that offended that person. And so that's when I began to do interpersonal communication, because sometimes it's how we communicate to people, and is that the result? Although I did not identify with that description of who I was, but it still was daunting for me to be described in that way and to know that that's what she thought of me. But everybody, is either blatant or not blatant. Because I've always been in, environments where I was the only one. I grew up that way, but it wasn't until I came to North Carolina and started living in Charlotte, and that's where I experienced discrimination aspect. But it's all good. You learn from it. But the thing that I did is that I looked at myself first instead of retaliating against her, because there's a whole lot of things that I could have done. But I don't know if that would have gave me the result that I needed. But I'm still here. I'm still Dana, and I'm always going to be Dana.
Right, and that's her off, and that's her stupidity. Sometimes people are just ignorant and call it what it is. It's just ignorant.
Exactly.
So you can't live with everybody. That's the thing about mindset changing and shift. You cannot live and then fall up under someone else's opinion of you, right? You can't do that. So you got to know who you are and whose you are, and keep it moving. And
exactly.
That's all I got to say about that.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a process for me, because, at 21, that's a process. It was a process. I had to change, focus, and progress. And it took some time. It took some time. It wasn't something that I could bounce back off and be like, I'm good. But I had to physically go through that and process what she said, and then shake it off, and then say, now what are you going to do? And, and so, the result was that I started looking into interpersonal communication. How am I being perceived by people in the workplace? What is it that I can do so that I'm not perceived that way? Because You know, sometimes you're strong, you come off strong, but sometimes you just have to soften it up and come out with love and set those intentions so that you can get the results that you need. So in closing, leave us with those affirmations today that to help us move forward, because you said 3. And so we want to make those known for those affirmations.
Right. So what I would encourage individuals to do, because this is actually out of my book, Create the Change You Want to See. This is it's a book, it's a journal of reflections. And what I would want to encourage individuals, I'll just give you one simple one is I'm beautiful. I am beautiful.
Mm.
Just say that.
Mm.
Beautiful, because some people don't think, they don't think they are, but I am beautiful. I am unbreakable.
That's right.
I am an overcomer.
Mm.
And I will be the change I want to see. Make an example. Make yourself an example. Be your change.
Exactly.
Be the change that you
Right.
want to see in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Miss Greer, I thank you so much, because we're coming up on an hour. I thank you so much for your patience with my technical difficulties with my Wi-Fi and all of that. And I thank you for being patient with us. But I do want people to do a call to action. If you could please like and subscribe to Sisters to Dream Network and Investment Group. And then also to please like and subscribe to her page, which is Greer Solutions Facebook page.
Greer Business Solutions.
I'm sorry, Greer Business Solutions Facebook page. And I've also, if you see the thing that's going across, it says enter to win Tina Greer's book, and the drawing will be out on 6/17/20. So there are some stipulations for that, and that is the book that I'm giving away as promotion for her book, as well as the other books that she has. But this is the particular book that we're going to give away. But there are some stipulations, and the stipulations is that number 1, you must like and subscribe to both channels. And then also 2, you must leave something in the comment section where it's if it's under this feed, or if you send her a message. So you have to send us a message saying that you were on the live or you saw the replay of this video. And so that we will know that you liked and subscribed, because we have to have information. And then also to comment on, I don't know if she can comment on your page, but if you can't comment on our individual page, please inbox us. But the drawing will be held on 6/17/20, and I will announce what time the drawing will take place. But make sure, this is a great book, and it's a great start. It's something to have in your library, even if it's not for you for this moment, but it could help somebody else out. There are excerpts in there that you process and just have a inspirational moment just to get yourself together. And that was the purpose of us coming together to collaborate and have a discussion, so that we want to encourage our community that we are strong and that we do have power, and that it takes us to heal our minds individually first, and then we can help others, and that we are not. I thank you so much. And is there anything else and I wanted to say about your process to profit. Now let's just touch on that just a little bit so you can explain to people your small business.
Sure. As I was saying earlier, besides me being very creative as far as writing books and creating products, TLC products, one of the things I do on the analytical side of the house is actually Greer Business Solutions coaching and consulting services. And I work with government contractors, those who are trying to win a government contract that are new to the business, new to the industry in regards to that realm. I actually have an upcoming challenge, a free 5-day challenge, which will start on June the 22nd. And you guys can actually register and be a part of that challenge and learn what the process looks like to win a contract, to prepare a bid. So it's a bit.ly link. It is GBS Contracts Challenge, GBS Contracts Challenge. That's the bit.ly link, and you can register to be a part of that challenge. Again, it starts on the 22nd. So I'm super excited to share what I know from 20 plus years in the industry of government contracts. I want to share it with small business owners.
Absolutely. So we have a well-rounded person that I have connected with, and I hope to continue our relationship. And that's all about what Sisters Dream Network and Investment Group about connecting with individuals that are involved in the community, but also, focusing on what pillar they're on. So she has that entrepreneurship, which owns small business, as well as that personal development, as well as she has that community link. And that's what we want to do. We want to promote those and lock arms with people who are doing those things so that we can help people virtually in our community, as well as going out in public and helping our community where we live. Because she hails from Georgia and I hail from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I thank you all, whoever joined in on our broadcast. I am going to replay this most of the day today. And like I said, enter Tina Greer's book. The drawing will be on 6/17. And remember, you must like and subscribe to both pages, Greer Business Solutions Facebook page, Sister Dream Network Investment Group. You can do the Facebook page as well as the YouTube channel. And also, too, if you're interested in, her Process to Profits class, go on her page and register for her 5-day challenge, So I hope everybody has a great winning Wednesday, and we will connect with you later. Thank you, Tina. Have a great one.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.